Hello, it's Liz, and today I'm going to be showing you what I'm working on. I've got a new licensing model that I want to talk through. We're going to be launching this week. I have no clue if it's going to work. If it does work, it has the potential to be an 8-figure brand right out the gate. And if it doesn't work, we're going to kill it and we're going to try something else. I'm going to go through kind of my process, what the offer is, how I'm setting it up, how I'm going to run a very simple test to figure out whether or not this is actually even viable without wasting a ton of time. And it's going to be a $0 product market fit. So, like, everybody talks about product market fit, and they tell you you don't know if you have product market fit until you actually have it, which I think is a little bit deceiving. Like, what does that even mean? And so I want to test this. I want to get the market to say, hey, we want this. And once I have that, then I'm going to use that as leverage. So this is the offer. I run a training business, and we've been selling direct to consumer, so D2C. And it's a career advancement offer. And we basically help people get high paying, like 6-figure careers in tech. And we've got a $3,500 to $7,500 offer that people pay themselves. So they'll do like credit card or a bank account, or it's basically self-funded. Well, it requires a lot of infrastructure to really get to scale. And if you notice, like most education companies, like ed tech type companies, any sort of boot camp programs, career advancement programs, accelerators, anything in that market, they tend to have significant funding. So they'll raise, 7, 8 figures of funding to build out their team, and they're not actually education companies. They're selling something else. And so what they tend to be selling is loan origination. So they're using the career advancement to help somebody get, the next level in their career. But what they're actually doing is they're originating or underwriting a loan, and they're doing this under the positioning of $0 down and pay when you get the job. And we were never able to offer this because in order to do that, you need to have enough capital and enough cash to float your operations for whatever that duration is. And you need to have a significant legal team to handle collecting against those loans. So, like, what happens if somebody defaults? What happens if somebody doesn't pay? You turn into like a fintech/bank product versus a training product. And so I never wanted to go in that direction because it just would have made things way more complicated than they needed to be. So I always focused on our core product and our core offerings and built the curriculum, built the training. It aligns with all the standards. We have an awesome story. We have, great marketing. We've had people enroll on less than a $200 CAC on a $3,500 to $7,500 offer off of cold traffic. No sales call, no sales team, none of that. They just buy off of a landing page. And so this new offer that I'm testing out right now is we're going to be taking this product here and we're going to be licensing it to edtech startups that their whole business model is funding loans. They want to originate new loans, and the only way to do that is to have unique, compelling working curriculum. And so we're going to be the revenue acceleration for our partners. So instead of taking the program through us, we're going to now turn this into a B2B2C offer, meaning we're going to license the IP, the NIL, the name, image, and likeness, and the marketing and the strategy for a flat fee, 1-year non-exclusive license to these partners, and they're going to pay us a premium for that. And then we're going to manage this portfolio of 20 licenses because I don't want to saturate the market. I want to make sure that our partners have enough opportunity to sell and make money off the license. So the plan is we're going to be selling for $750,000 a year per license for a non-exclusive, unlimited license. And it's not white label, it'll just be powered by, and we're going to handle all of the fulfillment. So the only things that our partners have to really do, the easy parts, marketing, which we already have. We already know what works. We already know how to get, sub $200 CAC on this. Sales, which for them is really just like admissions, and lending. And then fulfillment is where they use our IP. So likely the folks that we're going to be targeting, they already are running this with their existing catalog. And what we're going to offer them is the ability to plug in a new vertical in basically 7 days and add 7 figures. Is we're going to have 20 licenses. 5 of them are going to be our founding 5 licenses. So it's $750K, but we're going to provide 25 leads ready to go for each to fill their first cohort. The goal with that is they're basically going to get a $250,000 credit. So 30% of their fee is covered. Basically, they're getting a deal. And that's just to get things moving. I'm fairly confident that we could ramp this up pretty fast. And even at a bare minimum, if all they did was, 10% of that and they did $100K a month, they'd still be doing $1.2 million off a $750,000 investment. So they'd still be in the green on this particular offer. And that also doesn't include the speed, right? Because when you're dealing with curriculum development and program development, the salaries alone for this R&D process are more than the licensing fee. So they should just plug it in and we'll get them spinned up in about 7 days with the goal of adding 7 figures. And that's basically that. So we'll handle fulfillment. All we need to do is just send over enrollments, and then we basically handle fulfillment and the IP. And then we'll probably add in some packages where they can do speaking fees and things like that if they wanted to go beyond like the NIL and name, image, and likeness and actually have speakers come and do talks and things like that. Then we can provide that for an additional fee. We can potentially provide consulting for an additional fee. But the goal of this is to turn this into an IP-based offer, no consulting. So this isn't coaching. This isn't consulting. This is quite literally, we have a money printer with this particular program. It's been running for 8 years. We've been selling it to cold traffic with people paying with a credit card. If we flip the model and you leveraged your income share agreement, your ISA, your funding, your infrastructure, your sales and admissions team, you could quite literally bolt us into your catalog and add another 7 figures within 60 to 90 days or less. What I'm going to do to test this is I'm going to send a simple email, and I'll show you what the email message looks like in a minute, but we're basically going to send this to 100 contacts. I've got about 2,500 or so contacts that we could send emails to, but I want to be able to test in small batches and just get a little bit of feedback to know whether or not we're going in the right direction rather than blasting the whole list and we've burned through all those contacts. So the simple email is going to have a call to action that just has a keyword. We're going to be using reply with the word cohort. So we're going to be waiting for a reply. And then once we get those replies, we are going to be determining whether or not it hits our threshold. So we want to know replies greater than 10%. If we have more than 10% of the people reply, so if I send it to 100 people, if we get at least 10 people to reply with the word cohort, that means that our test has passed and we are going to run the playbook. If we don't get that, then I may run this maybe 2 or 3 more times just to verify that we've got, enough data to really make that conclusive test. So we'll just go to a rerun. And then after that rerun, we will kill it if it's less than the 10% reply. So that's basically the plan. I'm going to show you the email that I've got drafted in the system. We're going to get it queued up. So here's kind of the message body that we're using. We're considering opening a special cohort where for the first time ever, we'd offer $0 down. You'd only pay once you land a job. Here's the structure. 12-week part-time program, 100% online, designed for working professionals, career outcomes, $85K to $120K plus at top engineering companies, full support through placement. We only get paid if you do. Past grads have landed roles at Raytheon, Apple, Lockheed Martin, and Amazon, and roles like robotics engineer, automation engineer, and systems engineer. We're gauging interest to see if this makes sense to run this special cohort. And if so, we'd likely cap it to just 25 people. This sounds like something you want access to. Just reply to the word cohort. You'll be the first to hear if it opens. So that's what we're going to send. And I've already got a list from the CRM of people that were interested in the program but didn't purchase. And we're going to go through and send it to those 103 contacts. And the subject that we've got is you still want to break into robotics. You won't pay a dime until you land a robotics job. And then I've got this tag here that I'm adding. So like if they reply to the campaign, I'm going to put a tag for licensing reply. That way we can filter it later and see what the results are. And then I may do a resend here. We'll do a resend in, let's do 24 hours. And let's do start your 100K robotics career for $0. And that should be good. So we'll hit save on that. And by tomorrow afternoon, we should start to see what we've got going on. I'm going to go ahead and we'll schedule it for 3 o'clock. It's scheduled. We're going to be testing this out. I probably should know, honestly, by this evening whether or not we're getting replies. If we are getting replies, that is a very good indicator of product market fit, meaning the market is ready to start a program like this for $0 down, pay later. So if you like this video, then subscribe. Any questions or ideas, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.